Meanwhile, Giju and his group stand behind, holding their weapons ready for the command. He remembers the plan for the subjugation, recalling that the water jet cutter attack of Donghi was just a signal for them to begin their powerful spell. As the main troops attack the monster, it runs towards them and becomes blocked by the backline tankers who step up defensive barriers, like Earthwall and Stone Shield. Using their defensive skills simultaneously, they keep blocking the powerful attacks, allowing others to attack back. At this time, the D-rank and below porters start to throw the explosive items over the shields, while the ranged dealers also join in with their ultra-long-range attacks. All these simultaneous attacks directed at the monster bewilder it, and cause a massive explosion, proving it to be a simple yet effective strategy. However, our hero, who is thinking something is off, turns to Seonpil, stating that they should not rush to the front at this moment and should observe the situation instead. Confused by this suggestion, Seonpil argues that they finally got a chance to become part of the main attacking group, but suddenly stops speaking and looks ahead with surprise. In front of them, the monster shatters the stone wall into pieces, causing a massive explosion that makes Donghi confused. While Giju thinks the biggest problem with this strategy is that if it fails, all hell breaks loose. Just as the monster comes out from the clouds of smoke, holding a giant blade, and lets out a loud scream. Reaching within the group of players, the monster starts to wreak havoc by injuring players and throwing them in different directions. Drinking the healing potions, the players wonder how long it has been since the battle started, only to realize that it has not been 5 minutes and the monster has already started to overpower them. However, looking at Donghi, they remark that it is amazing that he can stand confidently against such a dangerous monster. Meanwhile, Donghi charges his sword with powerful force and rushes towards the monster, launching a powerful strike. However, as he looks back towards the monster after the strike, he realizes that the monster's wounds are healing very quickly due to its incredible regeneration skill. Considering that, he orders the two main teams to start the attack while the backup team is instructed to prepare for the battle. Meanwhile, our hero remains still just watching, and Seonpil states that they also need to get ready because it will be their turn soon. Giju replies, "He's got this," making them confused, while our hero starts to walk towards the monster, holding both his swords. While they shout at him, telling him it's dangerous, our hero pays no heed as he continues to approach the monster, while emanating strong energy from his body. While dodging a few of the blows, Giju smiles and thinks that the players who graduated from the tutorial would never be able to understand what he knows. With that, he leaps up and starts launching swift attacks, thinking the patterns of the Guardian are similar to regular orcs, and the difference lies in their physiques and regenerations. Recalling his visit to the blacksmith shop to buy new equipment, our hero smiles, thinking his is the best opportunity to test out his newly linked ego's powers. He leaps up and reaches the monster at high speed, launching countless attacks, leaving it bewildered. Looking at his shoes, Hermes, it increases his movement speed and gives him the haste ability. When activated, it gradually increases the speed of the wearer for 5 minutes, and its top speed can be reached after 3 minutes. After a few moments, blood starts to spurt out of the monster's body, causing it to scream in agony, which leaves all the other players in a state of astonishment. Looking at the wounds on the monster, Donghi warns Giju that it has a powerful regenerative ability and they need to use deep attacks rather than several light attacks. Stating that this will be a battle of attrition, Donghi instructs him to save his stamina. However, just then, he realizes that the regeneration of the monster has stopped and becomes surprised. As Giju stands looking, we see that his necklace is another ego named Rain. It allows the user to regenerate mana at a faster rate and applies grievous wound, which slows down the healing of any wounds he inflicts. After a few moments, the monster gets up again and changes the patterns of its attacks, leaving all the players bewildered. To our hero, who is just watching, thinks that this change is not impressive, it's simply the flailing around of a low-level monster that has been cornered. With a smile, he predicted all of this in advance, leaps up launching a brutal attack on the monster that leaves all others astonished. After landing, he rushes forward again and gives a powerful horizontal slash to the monster, thinking that it is an orc after all and cannot scare him no matter what. Following that attack, he keeps on launching continuous strikes, causing blood to continuously spurt out of the monster's body. After some time, the other members of the squad stare at him in shock while he stands near the boss monster lying dead on the ground. While the players express their astonishment at our hero taking down the monster alone, a notification confirming his victory over the low-ranking demon Ferrith. Giju is surprised to realize that it was a demon. Just then Lu's cannibalism skill activates and the monster starts to be devoured. Witnessing this, all the other players become shocked, while Giju remains still and receives a notification that the egoification of Ferrith has failed. He looks at Lu with an accusing look, then another notification tells him that the fragments of Ferrith's egoification are being absorbed into Lu. With the monster's body having disappeared, Giju stands still, while Donghi keeps looking at him in astonishment. Turning to the other players, he instructs all the injured members to focus on their recovery, and tells the non-combatants to start organizing the front line's leftover belongings. He advises them to remain attentive and not let their guard down, then walks towards Giju, asking for a private conversation. As they walk, Giju wonders if Donghi was gonna interrogate him for the disappearance of the corpse, since he knows the Guardian's corpse holds significant value. Considering that all the spirit stones and reward items will now be inaccessible, Giju suspects that Donghi plans to blame him for that. However, he believes there is no concrete evidence that it's solely his fault, as it was an irregular fight, and Donghi cannot make hasty assumptions. While these suspicions fill our hero's mind, Donghi gets straight to the point and asks him if he has any interest in joining their guild, making him realize what his intentions were. He politely turns down the offer, stating that he's not interested in joining any group at the moment, and says that he temporarily joined the Morningstar Guild to participate in this raid. Understanding Giju's decision, Donghi expresses his desire to maintain a good relationship with him. So, he gives Giju his business card, suggesting that Giju can contact him if he ever changes his mind or needs assistance. After leaving the tower, Giju stands with the members of the Morningstar Guild outside the association building, showing his appreciation for their efforts. Turning to Cianpil, Giju asks why he didn't join Sequa's kind guild. He remarks that Cianpil is very capable, has more than enough potential and connections, and would have been very successful if he joined, but Cianpil states that it is nothing special. Cianpil goes on to explain that he didn't want others to think his recruitment was based on nepotism, and that he aimed to achieve everything on his own. He then poses the same question to Giju, suggesting that Sequa would have highly appreciated someone like him. After some contemplation, Giju states that he's nothing extraordinary and starts laughing. Just then, other members of their group approach them, asking about their discussion and inviting them to join them for lunch. He politely declines, telling them that he is moving soon and needs to go home and pack up, and bids them farewell. He assures them that he will contact them once the move is completed. He takes his phone out, planning to call Xianghun, since he told him that he would call after the raid. However, opening the phone, finds a message from Taeshik, telling him to call right after the subjugation is over. At an apartment building, Taeshik apologizing for calling so late. He reveals that the president of the association wants to have dinner with Giju. Our hero felt surprised, thinking it was so sudden and that he should have made some preparations if he knew. Thinking that the president is a self-made man, who is popularly known as the hidden giant of the Korean player industry, Giju wonders why a person like that would want to meet him. As they reach the 10th floor of the building, Taeshik informs Giju that the president wants to prepare dinner for him, since cooking is his hobby. As they reach the door of Taeshik's apartment, he opens it and calls out to the president, starting a very informal conversation. After a while, Taeshik asks about the menu, saying that he did not have much at home. The president states that he got the groceries, and tells him to set the table. As Giju looks at the old man before him wearing an apron with surprise, realizing that this was the president of the association. Upon noticing, the president offers his hands in greeting, while Giju extends his hands in greeting. He is overwhelmed by the sheer amount of power surrounding the president. Realizing the intense pressure, Giju thinks that he is someone who is really powerful, and capable enough to become the head of the group of superhumans. Seeing Giju's expression, Taeshik remarks to take it easy and calls the president dad, leaving Giju puzzled and shocked at the realization that Taeshik is actually the son of the president. During dinner, Giju begins to eat while still feeling shocked at the implications. Meanwhile, the president states that he has heard a lot about him from Taeshik, who has given him a lot of help with his authority as the general manager. While Giju remains silent in response, Taeshik stops his dad, saying that they are at the dinner table and he should let Giju eat. The president replies that he is just saying what he needs to say, while Taeshik argues that Giju cannot even swallow the food properly because of him. Turning to our hero, the president states that he has a proposition for him, asking if he is interested in listening. Feeling nervous, Giju asks what he means, and the president states that the association would like to hire him. In response, Giju states that he is not interested in joining any organization currently, when the president interrupts, saying that it is not like that. He clarifies that he wants Giju to become a mercenary for the association. At night, while returning to his house, Giju remembers Taeshik's words that his father is not trying to pressure him or force him into anything. Instead, he only wants to give him proper labels to justify his receiving help from the association, so that he can get help when he wants and take what he deserves. Remembering Taeshik calling it a good offer, Giju thinks that it should not be bad if Taeshik has said it to him, but he does not feel good about getting affiliated with someone. Remembering Sequa's kind guild, he thinks that when he was flailing around as a level 1, Sequa became famous as the leader of one of the top guilds in Korea. He remembers that he has only been in his debt since he met him, thinks that he cannot be in debt forever, and eventually wants to stand next to him as an equal. Meanwhile, inside the tower, a fight goes on between a monster and two players who keep on missing the target and try hard to finish it off. Just then, the monster emerges from the flames once again and charges at them when one of them gives it a fatal blow that leads to its death. After the monster dies, they take a sigh of relief and wonder if they should proceed. One of them states that it is already nighttime, and they should just hunt 2 more of them. Having decided that, they start to move ahead, feeling a little chilly but thinking that it is because of the night that they feel this way. However, considering that the 26th floor generally has a hot climate, they find it strange and unusual. After walking some distance, they reach the edge of the hill and think that the monsters might be at the bottom of the hill. However, as they look down, they are shocked to see all the monsters frozen, along with the entire forest. Meanwhile, down the hill, a person calls out to the guildmaster, who is sitting upon the frozen body of a monster, and tells him that they are unable to find the thing they were looking for. Hearing that, the person gets up and turns out to be Sequa, who tells his guild members to let's head up. A TV show called The Weekly Player is revealing what happened last weekend. The Angela Guild declared that they would clear the 80th floor, causing a commotion to the entire world. The host explains that the guildmaster Seonho Lee, who is a global rank 1 candidate, and another high ranker Yubin Shin, reinforced that Korea is the nation of the strongest players. She states that this is the reason why they have organized a high rankers special event, the purpose of which is to introduce them to the living legend, Azura. Taking the discussion forward, the other host states that even amongst the original 5 high rankers, there is very limited knowledge available about Azura. Remembering that show, Giju turns to Taeshik, asking if Azura, known as the strongest player alive, is really the president of the association and his father. In response, Taeshik agrees, leaving him astonished, but tells him not to spread this information, saying that it's a secret. Taking a box with a ring out of his jacket pocket, he gives it to our hero, who looks at it extremely perplexed. Giju remarks, if you're proposing, you got the wrong person. Taeshik calls him a dumbass, and goes on to tell him it's a kind of identification supplied to the mercenaries, with which he can exercise authority equal to that of the managers, surprising Giju. He states that Seonghun will give him all the other details, telling him that they have made Seonghun his official secretary starting that day. He further explains that Giju will receive the treatment of a high ranker regarding many things related to the tower or gate clearing, and will be rewarded for completing the mission. He also reveals that Giju will have the right to decline any mission as a mercenary, leaving Giju astonished, and he remarks it to be the best offer. Meanwhile, in the main building of the Iron Guild located in New York, Iron Shield stands looking out of the window when a person comes to him, asking if they were called. As he asks what their request is, the person, who turns out to be Rogers, stands behind him, requesting to be sent to Korea, stating that he will do anything to go there. Iron Shield reveals that he will make a branch in Korea, and send Rogers there as a manager so that he can do as he wishes for revenge or otherwise. Along with it, Iron Shield states that he will bestow 9 upon him. Realizing that 9 is the powerful holy sword possessed by him, Rogers becomes overexcited and thanks him for that. Looking at him, Iron Shield states that he has to become the stepping stone for their revenge. Remembering the Demon King, he turns around with one of his legs replaced by an artificial one and expresses his anger, vowing to tear her to shreds the next time they meet. Meanwhile, traveling in a car, Giju looks at the stat window of L and remarks that it has grown considerably stronger after absorbing the power of the Holy Sword. However, he wonders where to get an actual Holy Sword and asks if L is aware of it, but she says sorry, she's still not regained all her memories. After thinking about it for a while, he turns to Lu asking about the Ego Shard. He states that Lu claimed that it was unaware of how to use the Ego Shard that they got from Changqiang's ego, but in the case of Faratha's ego, it was absorbed into it. Therefore, he asks if Lu feels like anything has changed after absorbing the ego. Lu ponders. Just then, Xianghun is quietly observing him, asks if he cut his hair and he agrees, getting that it grew a lot, so he just trimmed it a little. Observing Xianghun, Lu remarks that it seems like he is able to hear their conversation, but Giju states that it is impossible and repeats his question, and Lu states that is unaware of that. Disappointed by that reply, he turns to Xianghun, asking where they are going. In response, Xianghun reveals it to be a unique gate in Yosu whose rank keeps fluctuating between F and C, and he needs to clear it. Thinking that it is his first mission as a mercenary, Giju states that he feels a little nervous. However, Xianghun states that he does not need to feel nervous since their first objective is to simply gather information, and he will be going in as well. Xianghun then asks if he knows that there are code names given to the mercenaries of the association, but Giju replies that he has never heard of that before. Xianghun reveals that it was decided that morning in a meeting that his codename is Morningstar, making him surprised. Considering it to be a great coincidence, Giju thinks that Xianpil will be very happy if he finds out, but he notices that Xianghun has started to laugh, which makes him annoyed. After a while, they reach the gate, where the people guarding it welcome him, addressing him as Morningstar, which surprises him. The person introduces himself as the manager of the Players Association in Yosu, while Giju asks him to lift his head, feeling uneasy this way. He requests that they simply call him by his name, which causes Songhun to start laughing again, making him frustrated. The manager explains that the gate in front of them appeared 4 days ago, and was immediately determined to be a unique gate. So nobody has gone inside. Xianghun remarks that their first goal in that case is to scout as originally planned, and inquires about the available manpower. In response, the manager states that they should be able to put together a B-rank subjugation squad upon request, which would be sufficient. Stating that they have already gathered all the supplies, the manager says that they can leave as soon as they are ready. Just then, they notice Giju walking towards the gate, becoming shocked and start to run after him. Reaching near him, they state that it is a unique gate and it's dangerous to approach it recklessly. Ignoring their words, Giju turns to Lu and L, asking if they are sure about what they said, and they agree. He touches the portal, causing it to become red, which resembles a situation where a gate break is about to occur, making everyone shocked. While Giju stands in front of the portal, others start to contact the headquarters and request backup from other guilds, thinking that the monster will soon start to overflow from the gate. While they are expressing their shock at such a sudden gate break, Giju realizes that L and Lu were indeed true when a window appears in front of him, asking him to confirm the link. This clarifies to him that this gate is indeed an ego in reality. In the surrounding area, people are still panicking and a person asks if they got any news from headquarters. Another person on the phone answers, confirming that the backups will arrive in 15 minutes. Meanwhile, Giju is conflicted about the situation, thinking he did suspect the gates could be egos, but didn't expect to find one so soon. As he was still hesitating on confirming the link, Xianghun comes from behind to grabs his hand and pull him back, while telling him it's dangerous, some strong boy crush vibes. After Giju is taken away, the gate reverts back to its normal blue status. Inside the temporary container office, Xianghun is amazed at Giju. He asks in a mocking voice that now Giju is even causing gate breaks, what else would he be doing next, control monsters or something else similar? Giju with a guilty face states, he didn't know it would turn out like that. Xianghun gets to the point and asks him what exactly happened, saying it did return to normal, but was that really a gate break? Our hero explains that he might have an idea, but it's still his first time experiencing something like this, and can't tell all the specifics, but it might be due to his unique ability that this happened. Since they can't do anything further, Seonghun hands Giju a traditional Korean mask to wear, in order to protect his identity. Due to the signs of a break, the outside is packed with players who were gathered urgently, as well as reporters who should be arriving soon as well. If he doesn't want to get all over the news, put the mask on in front of other people. After a conferring for 3 hours, it was decided that Giju would be entering the gate alone. While there were protests, the association took care of it somehow. At the entrance, Giju stands with his mask on, as Seonghun asks again if he is sure he will go in alone. Giju replies that since it's related to his unique ability, it would be best and for them to stand by outside, just in case. He then confirmed the link, causing him to disappear into the gate. Once inside, he gets a system notification stating testing your worth. Taking off the mask, he remarks that for Lu and El, all he had to do was give them names, but for a gate ego it might be different, to which Lu comments that he make them sound cheap. While he's not completely sure on what's happening, but he just has to clear the gate and see what happens, to which Lu agrees. As he looks around his surroundings, he can't help but get chills. He figures just heading towards where the magic concentrations are highest would be best. Just then, the ground suddenly shakes, and with an explosion, the skeletal warriors appear and start to rush toward him. And among them was a Dullahan, a headless horseman riding his headless horse, leading the group. He calls on El and Lu, and using his haste skill to charges at full speed towards the oncoming force. As he slashes through the skeletal forces, killing them with single strikes, he heads towards the leader to finish this battle. In the next moment, our hero stands within a cemetery looking towards a tall monument at the end of the walkway. Lu remarks that something feels off, while remembering back to the battle with the Dullahan. Lu continues to remark that the mid-boss was very weak compared to the magic power the gate emitted. Giju agrees, and as he was about to ask more about it, something catches his eyes. The casket top slides open to reveal a green glow from within, as Lu gives a warning. Lu states that everything else is so weak, since all the magic is concentrated into the boss monster before them. What stands before him is a monster that is only found in high-level gates or on floor 60 and above, the Undead King, Lich. The Lich asks, "Are you the one who wishes to become his master?" Giju is momentarily surprised and taken aback, and the Lich asks his questions one more time, "Are you the one who wishes to become his master?" Giju wonders, how come the gatekeeper has the system's voice? Well, stay tuned to find out what happens in the next episode. Until next time.